Alright, so we should be good with episode 2 here for the podcast. Um, so do you guys I didn't get to do this last time because I know for the previous podcast you already knew who the character was. Do you maybe want to try and guess which character we're doing this week?
Uh,
I can give you
no, I have no idea.
I can give you a clue. I can give you some clues here, right? So for one, this character was made in 1963. Um, it was made in 1963 by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and he debuted at the back of a Fantastic Four comic, which was titled Strange number
You're
110.
strange.
Yep. All right. This week we're doing it wasn't immediately obvious. This week we are doing Doctor Strange.
I'm
Okay.
so good.
Yeah. uh, yeah. So again, like I said, he's a Stan Lee and Steve Ditko character. He debuted in the back of a Fantastic Four comic actually. So he didn't even get his first like appearance wasn't even his own comic or anything. It was like a little extra in the back. He's a surgeon. He was a surgeon for a while, and he's the master of the mystic arts and has a bunch of titles. Besides, master of the mystic arts, he's also the sorcerer supreme, meaning that he is the greatest to ever use magic in all of Marvel.
Okay.
He has a bunch of spells and shields and different things, but I'm gonna send you a list. I'm gonna send you a list here. All right. On on Discord, I'm gonna send you both a list of spells. And I just kind of want you to pronounce these spells if you can try. There's some really funny spells here. Okay. So I want you to give it a good shot here at the spells.
Okay.
All right, here, and I'll open it up for you guys in chat to try and read as well. Some of these oh, open up
I
twice.
found my favorite one already,
Oh
so
yeah, which one's your favorite spell?
yeah, it's the Winds of Watum.
The Winds of Watu. Yeah, that's great. There's the so I can go over the ones that I know that I've seen. So the first one that I know, the common one is the Crimson Bands of Sidorak.
Uh-huh.
If
I
you
mean,
remember.
I don't know why we're not talking about the Longorian spell for the battle of an astral incursion into the corporeal world.
These are some
Well,
stupid names, trust me. Because
I feel
wait,
like
it's
I
a
feel like this is an important one.
it's a Doctor Voodoo spell. It's a Doctor Voodoo spell, not Doctor Strange. If we cover Doctor Voodoo, I promise you I'll go through the Longorian spell for the battle of an astral incursion into the corporeal world. Um, okay. Um, the bolts of Balthak. It's just a electric shock kind of spell.
uh-huh.
You have the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, which, if you guys remember in Endgame, is the kind of bands that he used to try and hold Thanos down. It's
Yes, I
those red
Yeah.
bands. Yeah. Um, and if anyone knows the Juggernaut, the character from the X-Men, he got
Yeah,
his
Big Bad.
powers. Yep, he got his powers from Sidorak. You have the Flames of the Faltine, shoots fire. The images of a Khan. He is where he if you remember again in Endgame when he fought Doc or in Infinity War when he fought Thanos, he kind of like opened his hands and then like 1,000 of him popped out.
Mm-hmm.
That is the images of a Khan. He just duplicates himself. The Seven Rings of Ragador. It's just a magical shield way to defend stuff. And then he
Hey, yo,
has
shout out Ragador.
and then he has the All-Seeing Eye of Agamotto, which is in the MCU is where he kept he used the little thingy to open up the eye and pull out the time stone. It also has its own kind of different what's the words abilities, so he can use it to kind of see truths and lies within people, show the light of things, different things that the eye physically can do. Yeah, it says here reveal the truth or destroy an enemy attack actual soul. Actually, that one I hadn't actually read. If he can actually destroy a soul with the Eye of
Mm-hmm.
Agamotto. The Vapors of Voltor. That one's another one. the shields of Seraphim makes him a shield. The whispers of Waltor makes a fog to blind people, and the winds of Watum is like a big tornado blast kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of different spells that he
Let's
uses.
go, what's new?
Yeah, there's a lot of different spells. They're very funny names. But to conjure these, similar to how if you remember in the Loki episode, the people prayed to gods. Doctor Strange kind of has to ask gods for his power, and so he'll usually say a common thing is the Vishanti. He'll kind of shout call out, he's like, by the Vishanti, or Vishanti give me power, stuff like that. And the
Mhm.
Vishanti are three beings, three omnipotent beings that give him power. And the just to go over it, I'll show you a picture here. Don't mind these. I took me a minute to find the Vishanti. It's three beings. One is a tiger, all right?
Okay.
One is a male and a female, and the Vishanti's names are, if I can remember, it's Oshur is the lady, Agamotto, like the eye, is the male, and Hogarth is the tiger. And so
Mhm.
he has different spells. Agamotto, as you can see, doesn't have eyes. So when he calls upon the eye of Agamotto, it's his, or the hoary hosts of Hogith is he's calling upon the tiger, right? And then these
Mhm.
are a bunch of different spells that he has. Um, so when he debuted in Master of Black was the name of the Master of Black Magic, sorry, was the name of his first comic, and there's just a random dude, right? He's sleeping in bed and he's like really scared and really nervous, and he gets up and hold up. Actually, this is kind of concerning me. You guys in chat can hear me, right? I haven't been speaking for 10 minutes about Doctor Strange spells, and
Yeah, you're coming through in chat. You're coming through in
okay,
chat. Don't worry.
perfect. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't me talking about Doctor Strange spells for 10 minutes and no one being actually able to hear me. But okay, in that first comic, the Master of Black Magic, he there's a dude and he's having like these bad dreams. He's nervous and sweating, and so he goes to Greenwich Village, which is where the Sanctum is, and he walks in. He asks Wong, "Hey man, I need to speak to your master." Um, Doctor Strange shows up and he's like, "I know what's wrong with you. You're having bad dreams. Um, just go home and sleep, and I will appear to you in your dreams, and I will solve your dream problems." And he does, and Doctor Strange starts meditating. His astral form leaves his body, and he heads to his master in Tibet to talk to him and tells him like something doesn't feel right about this man. And he tells his master, the Ancient One, tells him, "You you will need your eye, the Eye of Agamotto, to help you through this next mission, and I will be here in Tibet to aid you if you need me." And so he goes and he travels back to New York into the guy's mind, into his dreams, and you find out that he's being haunted by like this black figure, this like shady black figure, and
Okay.
this guy is like he's talking, he's like I murdered him, right? And it's just like you find out that this guy was a part of a corporate deal and he took his whole life away from that guy, and the guy is haunting him pretty much. He stole his life away, and inside of the dream, right? He's having a nightmare. The villain that appears to him that keeps holding him back and not letting him sleep is the villain Nightmare. And for anyone who doesn't know what Nightmare looks like, I'll pop it up on chat. And Nightmare. I will send you guys an image of Nightmare. Um, Hopefully I can find Nightmare with his unicorn.
Nightmare has a unicorn?
Nightmare has a unicorn or a horse. Nightmare and the unicorn, or his all.
I like the Deadpool unicorn.
The Deadpool unicorn does look very nice. Let's see. It kind of looks like this. It's like it has a horn, but I can't tell if it's part of the scale or not. This is what Nightmare looks like for everyone in chat. He's like a black fire horse thingy. His mane is made of fire. Right, it looks really cool. Do you guys? Can you
I'm sure
guys?
that horse loves a good apple.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Like nice demonic apple here. Um, yep. Zeno, you can see it in. I'm sure
Yeah,
if
I
you're in
can see it.
chat.
I can
Yeah.
see it.
Okay. Cool. Perfect. Because if not, I would have sent it. But yeah, he appears to him and he says, "You're in my dimension now. You're the only way out is you're the only way out is a fight to the death." And of course, Doctor Strange being Doctor Strange, he starts fighting him. But the man wakes up. He's like, Doctor Strange knows now that I have murdered this man. I need to kill Doctor Strange. And he pulls out a gun from his
Oh
cabinet
no.
and he's gonna shoot Doctor Strange while his astral projection is inside of his mind, his like dream. Which I don't know how it works if he's in the dream dimension fighting Nightmare, if the guy who's dreamt him isn't dreaming anymore, right? It's a bunch of like,
Mhm.
yeah, but he goes
I
to
get it.
shoot Doctor Strange, and the Eye of Agamotto it opens up because the Ancient One is kind of, what is it? The Ancient One gets him. He tells him like, I'm gonna protect Doctor Strange, and he hypnotizes the guy with the gun, and he drops. He's like just like a still figure, and Doctor Strange realizes like, I need to leave this. I can't fight Nightmare here, and he jumps out of the guy's dream, and he orders the guy to like put the gun down and have him like turn to the police for attempting to, one, kill Doctor Strange, and two, for murdering the guy that he stole from, right? And so that was pretty much Doctor Strange's first appearance, his this very first comic. But more recently, I guess, not really, in 2011, Greg Pak decided to redo his rewrite or remake his origin story, which is fairly similar to the movie, to
Mhm.
Doctor Strange's like movie's origins. So in this comic, you have Doctor Strange. She's like the snobby private surgeon, like really expensive, a lot like, if you can't afford me, don't come to me if you can't afford me, kind of deal. Um, he gets a bunch of patients. He's doing work, and then he decides to go out on a night, and he gets into his car, and bam, he gets into a car accident. It's like, I think he trashes his car against like a mountain. It falls off the side. He breaks his hands, and he gets nerve damage, right? Um, on the mount From the nerve damage, he does everything he can. He's like, I need to pay this guy, give all my money up to try and you know fix my hands. My hand is my life, pretty much. I make my living through my hands. And people offered him jobs like, you can be my assistant, you can work at a desk job for me. He didn't want any of that. He was too prideful of himself to be able to give up his job as a surgeon, as like the best surgeon in New York, kind of deal. And
Right.
so he was determined to get his hands back, and he visited the Ancient One, right, in Tibet, in one of the mountains. And um and the Ancient One, he asked the Ancient One, he's like, "Yo, um, can you heal my hands? I don't want to learn your magic. I just want you to fix me." And the Ancient One declines him. He's like, "No, you're not. My magic can't be wasted on unworthy people, right? You're not worthy of my time."
Damn.
And so he says, "You can stay here at the house, but you're not worthy of me." And so at night, while he's staying, he's at the temple is attacked by Mordo, right? Mordo, if you guys don't know who he is, he was played by who was he played by? I forget the actor's name. His name is Baron Carl Amadeus Mordo, but he was played by Chitwell Ejiofor. This guy. Um, in Doctor Strange, he was the African American guy that kind of taught
Mhm.
Doctor Strange. Mordo in the comics is not African American. He's very much a white dude. Big beard. Right, this is what he looked like in the comic. He had a green dress, green outfit, lime green detailing, and like a like a beard, little mustache. This is
Mhm.
comparisons. So um, Mordo attacks the temple, and he's messing around using like Dormammu's spells and stuff. And if you guys remember Dormammu, um, the
Yeah.
big floating dude, who looks, by the way, nothing like that in the comics, but he's using Dormammu to manipulate the Ancient One into having Doctor Strange become an apprentice of Dormammu. So he finds out that, Doctor Strange, the way he made it through college and everything was like sheer, like, what's the word, willpower, right? He worked hard and hard enough to try and yeah, Dormammu, I've come to bargain kind of deal, right? So
Yes.
he's come to so pretty much Doctor Strange is really like he's really into his work. Like when he gets a job or something, he does it completely. And so he realizes that if he can teach Doctor Strange black magic and heal his hands, Doctor Strange will kind of like succumb to like power and that's what he wants. He wants to take one of like because he knows that Doctor Strange has this potential in him. And so Doctor Strange, upon seeing the magic happen, he's like, I don't care about fixing my hands anymore. I want to learn whatever that is, right? And
Mhm.
and the Ancient One sends Mordo back, right? Um, and he decides, all right, I will help you if you promise to learn magic, and he does. He accepts. No takebacks, right? And and it's been a couple months pass, and he knows the spells word for word. Um, he knows the spells word for word, but he doesn't have the heart to summon the Vishanti, the gods that will allow him to use this magic power. And so, you find the Ancient One has another student, Wong, who has the heart to summon the spells but can't pronounce the spells properly. Right?
Mhm.
So he says, "Forget this. You two are gonna work together, and you're gonna teach each other." Right? As all teachers do. And so they're trying to train together, but they really hate each other. They're at each other's throats. Like Wong beats up Doctor Strange, right? Calls him a demon because all he doesn't have a pure heart. He's selfish. He doesn't want to like really learn. He just wants to cure his hands.
Mhm.
And so on the mountains, right? A lady comes from Italy. She's like a blogger kind of lady deal, and she says that uh something wrong. um but she, but she says that she says that she's finding these she wants to find these rings, right? There are three rings, and if you have all three of these rings, you don't need the Vishanti's permission to summon spells, right? So um Doctor Strange agrees. He's like, "Okay, for sure um I'll do this cuz now I can learn with these three rings. I can heal my hands pretty much." And Wong's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You're a demon. We're bringing this back, but we're giving it to the Ancient One. He'll know what to do with it." And so they sneak out at night. Wong sneaks out with the lady, the Italian lady, and then Doctor Strange he's like, "Do you want me to like tell the Ancient One what you're going?" He didn't. Pretty much, the Ancient One said you can't go. It's too dangerous. But they went anyway, and Doctor Strange kind of threatened Wong with like telling if he didn't tag along. So he ends up going with Wong, and I'm just gonna like cut this real short. They get the first ring from this like wealthy politician in Salem who's never done anything wrong in his life because he's always worn the ring. The ring kind of protects him from mistakes. And so Steven, as a famous doctor, kind of does like a hand reading on him, makes him take off the ring, and he steals the ring while he's reading his hand. He's like, "Oh, your hands are swollen. You need to go to the doctor. Your hand's about to explode, and you might want to get that checked out." And he goes and he steals the ring. Um, the second ring is in, if I can remember, it was somewhere in the Middle East. Um, but he goes or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like I can't remember for the life of me. It was in the Middle East, and he goes and Mordo is kind of like realizing that they're collecting the rings. So Mordo sends out like some attacks, like some big birds to try and get at him, and
Mhm.
um and they kind of defend themselves, but they find out that the ring is in the possession of another surgeon, and he's saving people's lives, right? And they find the ring, but and Wong wants to take it from him. Wong like wants to rip it out of this guy's finger, but Doctor Strange says no because he's saving lives, right? There's people in this like third world country that he's saving, and he needs to like as a doctor he has to live up to his code. So you see this like moment of like Doctor Strange kind of being like, all right, I will assist you here in um in the surgery, right? I will heal everybody. I will help you heal everybody. But at the end of the day, before my flight, right, because they found the third ring was in England, before my
Okay.
flight, um, I'm going to I'm going to take that ring, right? We need it. It's magic. And he says, all right, fine, I'll do that. And they do it. He spends all night. like up until 6 in the morning, like with like a third world country hospital, filled like to the brim with patients, and he's operating. He's helping him operate, right? With this guy that he's never met, but just knows that he's a good surgeon, kind of thing, and it's like this really like heartwarming thing for Doctor Strange because he's kind of realizing like I can do things without having to have like perfectly still hands kind of deal.
Mhm.
And then they go to England. He gets the ring. They go to England, and they're gonna grab the third one, and it's in the possession of this old lady, right? And she uses the ring to kind of steal people's souls, right?
Ah,
And
yeah.
she steals their souls and
Yes,
and
typical
feeds
old
off of
lady
it.
things.
Yeah, yeah, of course, old ladies, stealing souls. Uh, so they kind of say, all right, we're gonna have to fight this lady for it, and they're pretty much locked in a magical battle in the middle of a museum,
Nice.
against an old lady. By the way, they're in their astral form, so their bodies are kind of just sitting there like meditating, and then their
Okay.
like spirits are fighting, and everyone's like, yo, come on, you can't be sitting here in the middle of the museum doing yoga, right? but you have them fighting the lady, right? They rip her finger off with the ring on
Oh.
it, and they grab all three rings, and they're on their way back, but they're stopped by Mordo. Mordo has this like last ditch effort to try and beat him, right? And he sends like attacks at like magical attacks at them, and you realize that like Mordo grabs the rings and he steals them from them with the magical attack, and so Steven and Wong realize we can't beat him, we can't beat Mordo here who's using magic with our fists, right? Doctor Strange's hand still has nerve damage, and and Wong, Wong isn't doing that much damage to him. He can't fight him alone, right? So Doctor Strange says I can send him back to Dormammu, right, in the dark dimension if you recite the spell that I say. And he tells him to do it. It's if I can remember, it's the Hoary Oaths of Hoggith that he uses.
Mhm.
And he sends him back to the dark dimension. He pretty much says like repeat after me, and he says this like long line of incantations, and Wong recites it after him, like follows him word for like the pronunciation exactly the way it is, and they send Wong back to the dark dimension. They grab the three rings and they send them, and they pretty much go back to the temple, to Tibet, and they like pretty much just go back to sewing clothes, and they get that like OG Doctor Strange uniform, because he was wearing like these like rags, and
Okay.
they end up sewing like the orange gloves and the like blue with the little like thing on it, the little like this thing pretty much right here.
Mhm.
So that was pretty much his origin story, pretty much of how it came to be, sort of. It was a lot different from the movies, being that Dormammu wasn't the main villain, or Caecilius. It was Mordo off the rip. Um, and just in case anyone wants to see Dormammu in the comics, the way he looks in the comics, it's something like this, like, oh, oops, don't. It's something more like this is what he looked like. It kind of looked like he was wearing a mask. But he has a flaming fire skull and like a suit of armor. This is what he looks like in Marvel vs. Capcom. Um, but yeah, and then the other one I read was a really nice one called The Oath. It was written in 2006. However, it looked a lot better than the one written in 2011. Like the art style, in my opinion, the art style of the 2011 one was like a little like it was really liney, I guess. This one was a lot more smooth. But this one starts off at the night nurse's office, right? And the night nurse is tending to a couple injured like patients, right? You have Aranya, which is like this Spider-Man, Spider-Woman kind of Spider-Girl kind of deal, and Iron Fist, who's like pulled a hammy, and Aranya got maced by the Flag Smasher. And so like they're like talking, they're like chit-chatting about like who they fought and stuff, and immediately Doctor Strange or Wong busts into the hospital carrying Doctor Strange, and he's like I need to see the night nurse. This is an emergency. And you see that Doctor Strange has like a bullet wound, um, which is really weird because Doctor Strange isn't like you can't really shoot Doctor Strange. He's
Right.
yeah. So they send him. They lift him up. They gurney him, and they bring him into the operating room. And Wong says like I'll donate my blood. I have the universal blood, whatever. And the night nurse is there. Trying to fix him up. She's like, explain to me what happened. And he says he was doing some work on a magic elixir. Um, and someone came in and shot Doctor Strange with Hitler's pistol. And it's like his pistol is supposed to be like magically imbued with like
Hitler had a magic pistol.
yep, Hitler had a magic silver bullet pistol. Yeah, as ridiculous as that is. And he was it was so strong that it was able to break through Doctor Strange's shield and pierce him and injure him. And and you find out that what Doctor Strange was working on was a magic elixir to help Wong because Wong has a brain tumor, right? Wong has Wong has brain cancer and it's really
Oh.
bad. And Doctor Strange really wants to find a way to heal him. And so he gets into his astral form and he's kind of like, you know that one scene in Doctor Strange, the movie where he's telling the nurse how to heal him up? It's pretty much that, where he's kind of like telling her like what happened, how it's going on, and how she can fix him. And they're talking about the elixir. And this is the only goofy thing I managed to find in all of Doctor Strange, ironically. But he found that to cure Wong, he had to fight a cat god, right?
Uh-huh.
And he went into the cat god's dimension and had to beat him. This is what the cat god looks like, by the way. It's this thing. Um, and he
That's
used
not a cat.
it looks kind of like a cat. I mean,
That's not a
it
cat.
kind of looks like a cat. It really, it didn't really have a name. He just kind of said it was a god, and it looked like a cat. So
Uh-huh.
to me, this is a cat god. I don't know what you guys think, but
Okay.
what does it look like to you guys?
This is not a cat god. This is like that tree from Dark Souls 3. It's like a tree with a lot of balls. It's kind of weird. It's kind of That's
Okay.
not a cat. It has like a pig face. What is that?
It looks like a cat. It looks like a weird, like one of those hairless cats.
It's like grasping for the smallest straw. That's what this is.
Uh, but you have Doctor Strange having to fight this cat, and I think like um, one of his fingernails is like it's a magic thing, all right.
Mhm.
But so he kind of sends the elixir out to a friend of his that he used to work for, and that elixir it makes like a special potion, right? But he was shot at the hospital, right? And they stole the main potion from him, and the little test tube is what he wants. He's like, I need to get this test tube because I was on the verge of curing Wong's cancer before I got shot. And so they're like, all right, I'm gonna patch you up. But you need rest. And Doctor Strange's like, no, no, no. I need to go get this cancer cure to cure Wong because if not, he's gonna die. And so she's like, all right, you can go, but I'll come with you to patch you up just in case you like die in the middle of the street, right? Um, so he still has the bullet wound. Wong is brain cancer, and the nurse has no powers. So they're pretty much on their way to fight someone that is a lot stronger than the three of them combined. And so they're on their way. By the way, they're in New York, and they talk about the most uncharted and foreboding realm in all of in all of the Marvel dimension, the Bronx.
The
The Bronx, man, I'm telling
the
you.
Bronx.
Even Doctor Strange wouldn't be caught dead in the Bronx. Um, but they head to the Bronx where the guy's like medical office was, and you find him dead on the floor, and the vial was stolen. So
Mhm.
this whoever's hunting him really wants him dead, and so they think it's Mordo because he had terminal cancer as well. But they're on the train, right? And they find out that the guy kind of left a magical residue. So they hunt him down to they hunt this guy down, and it's like this common thief. Um and that the thief, was working for the guy that cured Doctor Strange's hands, quote unquote, the guy that put them together. Nicodomius West. And he because Doctor Strange was so angry and violent at him, um he also sought out the Ancient One to cure Doctor Strange's hands. Um, and the Ancient One ended up teaching him magic, but he was so good at it that when he came back, he used it to heal people, right? And now it was a real issue because one of the Doctor Strange's patients had cancer, and he used the magic that he had learned to tell the body to eat away at the cancer cells, and it started doing that. And he was cured for like a good 10 minutes before the like body started eating out all the rest of his cells, and he exploded.
Mm.
And so Nicodomia, I'm gonna call him West. West decided never to use his spells, um, and he ended up working for a company called Timely, who told him, you're never gonna use these magic spells, right, to cure anybody, because us as a pharmaceutical company will lose money, right, if you're just going around healing everybody that has cancer and AIDS and whatnot. Um, so you're never gonna use your magic spells. Um, you can keep helping people as a doctor, and we'll hide the fact that you just killed this man, pretty much. And he agrees because he doesn't want to get caught. And so Doctor Strange kind of like, all right, I need to get back at this guy, at Nicodemius West. And so
Mhm.
he catches up to him, and Nick's scared, man. This dude is like, I can't be here. I can't. I have to get back to my company, whatnot. And he Doctor Strange catches him and he does like magic spells on him. But Wong kind of faints, and his like brain tumor has gotten to the point where it's contracting on his brain. It's like expanding really badly, and it's compressing against his skull. His brain is like tightening around the skull.
Okay.
So he faints, right? And the night nurse tells him, she's like, we won't have time to bring him to the hospital. You need to go and find that elixir before Wong dies, right? And so he does. He leaves. He heads out, and somewhere in the mix, Nicodemus talks to Timely, the company that he works for, and they tell him like, you need to deal with Doctor Strange. He can't know that we're involved, that the company Timely is involved. And so he's like, you need to use your magic again, and send some like monster after him. And he sends this giant like octopus monster after him that ends up like shooting fire and burning down the night nurse's office, right? And so her and Wong are like, they're like really in bad conditions. Um and so um Hey, what's up, Maddox? And so Wong is on the verge of death. And Doctor Strange finds him at Timely, right? He finds Nicodemus at Timely and says, "You look, man. If you don't give me that elixir, um, you're gonna have blood on your hands, and I'm gonna have
Mhm.
to clean up the blood." But he's, or no, he says if you pour the elixir down the drain, it won't be the only thing going down the drain. I'll have to be pulling your blood out of down that drain as well. And
Mm.
like and like this is the scene, pretty much. This is what it says, like, and so Doctor Strange is like, this is like Doctor Strange's most terrifying moments, because he was waiting for this dude in a stall, like it was some freaky stuff, man. And this dude's like, I can't do it, I have to pour this away, or else the pharmaceutical company, my company, will die. And he runs off to the roof, and Doctor Strange like makes one of those little portals, and he's like right behind them, and he's like, look, if you're gonna throw that out, if you're gonna dump it, I will be forced to beat the crap out of you. And they get into like this fight, right? And the guy says, all right, I know I can't beat you in magic. You're the sorcerer supreme. So what I'm gonna do is, he makes an incantation so that no one can use magic for 3 minutes, right? And it's like a full on brawl for three
Okay.
minutes, like a fist fight, right? And he's like, "You're the sorcerer supreme. You know nothing. Wong will be dead by the time you come back." And he's like, "It's true. I." And he's like, "It's true that Wong was like dear to me, and I'm his master. But at times, Wong has been my master, and Wong is very he knows a lot of martial arts. So Doctor Strange learned martial arts from Wong, and he proceeds to just beat the crap out of this guy with like all the Krav Maga, like whatever, like magic that he learned from like Tibet. And it's there's a name for where Wong is from. It was a place that Doctor Strange was in the movie. If anyone in chat can remind me the name of the place that Doctor Strange was in, the temple they were at. with the Ancient One. Um, but he makes the spell, and then they're fighting on the top of the roof, and it's raining. It's like thunderstorming, and whenever it's thunderstorming and someone's off the roof, Nicodemus slips. He falls. He has no magic. Um, like right at the very end, his spell runs out, so he conjures his astral projection, but his body like hits the ground really hard. He dies, and the elixir he was wearing it around his neck, in like a chain, and it breaks. It shatters on the floor, and
Oh,
Nicodemus and Doctor Strange goes down. He's like, no, 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 and it goes down like the sewer. And there's like a piece of glass with a drop of it on it, and Nicodemus is there. And he's like, and the comic, by the way, it's called The Oath. Doctor Strange the Oath, and it's called the Oath for this reason. Um, Nicodemus knows that Doctor Strange, Camertage, that's the place. Thank you, Addicts. Um, Camertage, the drop of the little drop, he gets it. It's like in a little piece of broken glass, and he has it in his hands, and he's like, um, you know, West in his astral projection right before he's about to die, he's talking to him. He says, if you want, um, the whole world is in the balance here. You can go home, and in an hour, you can make an entire cauldron of that little droplet that'll save everyone in the
right.
world from cancer, AIDS, the common cold, the flu, any disease they have. What's up, Chris? Any disease that anyone will have, if they have it, you can cure it with that thing. But Doctor Strange knows that Wong doesn't have an hour, right? He doesn't have an hour to make the cure for him, and so he's stuck, and so Nicodemus West tells him, he's like, I know you won't make this cure because it is as your doctor's oath. You have to use everything and all medical like equipment and techniques to heal the patient you're currently with. Hey, thanks, Chris. So he he knows that, and that's as his like surgeon doctor oath. He has to make a decision. Do I go back and make a cauldron and cure everyone in the world of AIDS, cancer, you know, mental diseases like Alzheimer's, all of that, right? Or do I go home and cure Wong? And so the comic ends pretty much with Wong waking up, right? He lost his brain cancer, no more brain cancer. Doctor Strange, as a surgeon, took the oath of I need to cure the patient in front of me, and I can't wait for everyone else. I have to cure the person in front of me, not everybody in the world, right? And so he used that droplet to heal Wong, right? The night nurse patches him up, and he and the night nurse proceed to have a relationship that she ends up staying at the sanctum with him, healing the patients there, and that was the oath. That is honestly this is one of Doctor Strange's best comics. If you guys would like to read it, it's like 5 comics max long, and like it's really nice. And then in the 70s, right? Doctor Strange had a goofy fight with Dracula, the living vampire. Yeah, thanks, Addicts.
Nice.
Yeah. So in 1972, Doctor Strange made an appearance in Tomb of Dracula number 44, right? And it starts with Doctor Strange is in a crystal ball and he's looking at it and he's like I need to know what happened to Wong. I can't find Wong, right? And he's like Wong isn't home yet, and so poor Wong has died on a ditch in the middle of sewer in like the middle of New York somewhere in an alleyway, and Doctor Strange is like, what has happened here? And so he checks the body and he finds out that Wong has 2 bites on the side of his neck, and and he uses the Eye of Agamotto to see if to like seal Wong's life essence into it, right? Like to preserve him. And so you cut to Dracula, who's like upset and weak because he hasn't been eating, and he like smashes his TV. He's like, I need to feed, and at the same time, you have Blade the Vampire Hunter hunting this guy down. Like this guy is like Blade his whole purpose is to track down his parents' killers, and
Okay.
Dracula is pretty much well I'm not 100% sure, but it's stated that Dracula, being the lord and king of all vampires, might have been responsible for it. So Stephen, right? Stephen Strange gets to him, and he said, or Doctor Strange, right? In the comics, Alex, the Eye of Agamotto isn't where he holds the Time Stone. The Eye of Agamotto is its own separate entity from the Time Stone, where it has its own like spells and magical abilities. So it can summon light. He can see the truth, right? So but it was really nice that they managed to put the Time Stone in there. Like you don't want to be holding the Time Stone in your pocket. Um, but Doctor Strange ends up reaching um Dracula's mansion in Boston, right? And he's upset, he's pissed, and he's like, "You killed my servant. Now you have to face me, Doctor Strange, right?" And they get into a fight where Dracula's blinded from the light of the eye of Agamotto, and Doctor Strange he binds him with crimson bands of Sidorak and the rings of Ragador, right? But then Dracula turns into like wind or something.
He turned into
uh,
wind?
he turns into like mist or something, and he's like, "Ha ha ha! You can't beat me because I can do a bunch of stuff." And they get into like this jousting match where Doctor Strange uses the images of a Khan, and they're jousting, and Steven stabs Drax in the chest, but while they're jousting, Dracula mind controls Doctor Strange and bites him, and so Dracula's
No.
kind of like immune to the stabbing, but Doctor Strange gets bitten and thrown into like a cellar, right? And they're saying that Doctor Strange is kind of like in between life and death, and so he kind of uses his astral projection. Like his astral projection is shot out of his body, and it can't go in until he finds a way to um beat Dracula. And so this continues on in the Doctor Strange comic, where you have Dracula like roaming around Boston, and um, Doctor Strange uses his magic to kind of like change into his like Dracula's ex-wife from before he became a vampire. And he's like, "Oh, look at me, I'm your wife. I miss you. It's your fault that I'm dead, right?" And
Oh god.
and Dracula's like, "No, no, I must see my wife again." LMAO addicts with the Loki quotes over here, but yeah, for Doctor Strange is kind of like he's there with like pretending to be Dracula's wife, and he's like baiting him. He's like, "Come to me, come to me," and they fly over to New York, right? Um, yeah, it really is. It really is like Castlevania Dracula stuff, and he baits him, and he's like, "Oh, when the sun will turn, Dracula will start burning up, and I could get him from there." And
Uh-huh.
um, and so Doctor Strange kind of like floats back into his body, and um, so this is kind of weird because Doctor Strange's body was in the cellar in Boston, but it says that the vampire bat hid a inside like a random abandoned building from the sunlight, and then he turned back into Dracula. And then they like magically he runs into the cellar of that like abandoned building, which it has a cellar by the way, and out in that cellar is Doctor Strange, even though he was back in Boston and they're halfway into like I don't know where Cape Cod is. I'm pretty sure that's in New York, right? Or Florida? I don't know. Wherever the hell Cape Cod
Cape
is
Cod. Oh god, I know where it is.
yeah,
Oh my
it's
god. It's somewhere near New York. No, it's not. No, it's not.
is it in Florida? It's in Massachusetts. Okay, it's in Massachusetts. It's
Yes,
like
yes.
an island
Okay.
off of
Yes, it
Massachusetts.
is in
Um,
Massachusetts.
so it was like some island off of Massachusetts, but it's not Boston where his freaking castle is. But but there Doctor Strange is just in that random cellar in a abandoned building in Cape Cod. But
Uh-huh.
Doctor Strange comes out and he's been bitten and kind of turned almost into a vampire, and he gets into a fight with with Dracula, and so Doctor Strange uses a spell to call upon the gods and use their power to get into his hands, right? And then he
Mhm.
grabs Dracula's neck, and using like God's power, the light of God kind of burns Dracula and kills him. And in doing so, he's turned back into a human, his soul is allowed to enter his body, and then he uses the eye to bring Wong's body back into him. And Wong's alive, and he's like, "I'm ready to help you." And that was pretty much the like goofy Dracula versus Doctor Strange kind of comic, which had Blade chasing around another vampire. Um, Dracula would be a nice character to come up into the multiverse of madness. It would be really interesting. But I don't think he will, Addicts. There's a lot of stuff going in there. Um, but in 1972, around the same time as that Dracula comic came out, Doctor Strange and the Hulk put up a team called the Defenders, and the Defenders are on Netflix at least. You have that TV show with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and Daredevil and all them. Right? This one wasn't as nearly the case. Doctor Strange never joined. He was never an Avenger, right? Because the Avengers they dealt with threats. I guess so, Addicts. But the threats that they dealt with were like extraterrestrial and like street dudes kind of deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Defenders dealt with the more mystic and weird, right? And so you had characters like the Hulk, and Doctor Strange, and they brought in Namor the Submariner, the King of Atlantis, the Silver Surfer, Patsy Walker's Hellcat, who by the way is also a character in Jessica Jones, Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson's character, Nighthawk, and Gargoyle, who are a bunch of other characters. And if you guys want me to do any of these characters, don't forget the Revengers. That the Revengers were I kind of want to say they were similar, the Revengers, to this Defenders team, because they were dealing with that mystic threat of like magic and god kind of beings. And so the Defenders lineup, right? They fought a bunch of like cosmic entities. So they had characters like the Wrecking Crew, which if you remember from Loki, the Wrecking Crew got their powers from Loki enchanting their they were construction workers who were enchanted by Loki and given Asgardian powers, pretty much. And so they fought like the Wrecking Crew, or if in here you guys can see the Headman, which by the way, the Headman is a bunch of goofy characters that are all just like heads, like either weird heads on normal bodies or normal heads on weird bodies. That's their
I can
deal.
get behind that.
So you have someone like Ruby Thursday, who's I'm gonna put it the way the author who wrote Ruby Thursday put it. She has the body of a porn star and the brain of a genius, but she put her head into this red orb. Her head is no longer like a normal head, it's just a red orb. It's like have you ever tried to put one of those like Lego pieces onto a human body, onto like the Lego bodies, like one of those like non-head pieces onto the body? Yeah, because that's what she is.
Oh, okay.
she's just like a human addicts. Here, I'll show you a more I'll show you a more accurate picture of Ruby Thursday. This is Ruby Thursday. Body of a porn star with a red head, and she's pretty much the only member of the Headmen who actually has a realistic power, like a decent power, and her orb kind of like can like shoot out like fists or like clubs, as you can see. They all come out of the orb, right? And she's a big she's big with Wolverine, bunch of Spider-Man characters. Ruby Thursday's here. I'm not allowed to show that on stream. Alex.
TOS.
TOS, but I'll allow that. That was funny. I'll allow it. It was a funny pun because she ain't got no head. And then you have like the two scientists here. I forget their names. If you want me to do a Headman character, I will, and I'll remember their names. But they're doctors. One of them is just like, he's a really big doctor, this guy, but no one really cares about him because he just has a weird head. And so he's normal. He just has like an awkwardly shaped head, and and so as the other doctor was like this he was testing on monkeys or gorillas, and he was what he ended up doing was anytime someone like a military patient like lost a limb or an organ or something, he would just replace it with gorilla organs.
Oh no!
And so
I don't see any way that could go wrong.
and so he's like, I have a brilliant idea. I'm gonna replace my entire body with a gorilla's body and put my brain into the body of a gorilla. That's just what he is. What's up, Almighty? How's it going? Um, but you have that, and then you have honestly what is one of the best Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom team up comics, and actually I think it's the only one. But I really want to get into this, and if you guys ever want me to cover a Doctor Strange comic or a Doctor Doom comic, I will redo this comic for you guys. This is such a great comic. It is. If you guys look at the price of this comic right now, it goes for about $150. A single copy of this comic because it was very the comic didn't sell that many issues. It got reprinted recently, but originally that comic didn't sell that many issues. And but it is so good of a comic, and it's basically I wanted to cover this because it covers Doctor Doom's backstory and Doctor Strange's backstory, and you have Doctor Strange, right, who or well, it starts out with this guy called the Ancient Genghis in the Himalayas, and this guy he's a sorcerer who Doctor Doom came up to him, right, and Doctor Doom had been at the time studying science and magic, but he wanted to get better at magic. So he asked Genghis, and he's like, "Teach me." And Genghis like, "No, I don't teach people. I don't do it anymore."
Okay.
And Doom is like, "I need a place to learn," and he sends him off to this like area, and he's like, "Not many mortals make it here, but if you can learn magic from these guys. These guys will help you with whatever you want." And so Doom goes, and like the second Doom leaves, Doctor Strange comes, and he's like, "Look, Genghis, I know who you are. You're dying of starvation. You gotta, you gotta eat." And Genghis refuses because the only thing that he needs is the gifts of the Vishanti. And so you cut back to Doom, who just made it to like the area. He's half dead of starvation and hypothermia himself, but he made it and learned magic from them. And he learned so much magic from them, he became their master. And they willingly made him the armor, like the suit of armor that you know from Doctor Doom. They made it to him, and Doom at the time was very young. It was before he had the armor, and he had been in an explosion, right, in which his face kind of got like the tiniest scar, right, but to Doom he was very like vain, and so he was like, I need to cover this hideous, disgusting face. And so he took that mask that they had made from him, and it literally just came out of the fire that the blacksmith had done, and he took it and put it on, and it like burnt his face off. And he like endured the pain, and he put it on. And then you cut years later, they do all their things. He fights the Fantastic Four. Doctor Strange does the Doctor Strange things, and and you cut to the ancient Genghis, and it's been 100 years, and he says, "It is time for me to gather all the sorcerers around the world for this one major event." And you know, he sends out a message calling everybody. Doctor Strange goes, a bunch of other guys from around the world go, and they get to this temple in Southeast Asia, and every 100 years, Genghis had made a promise to the Vishanti that he would reunite all the sorcerers for a skill test of skills to determine which sorcerer is sorcerer supreme, right? And so yeah, and so they offered one favor to anyone who would win their challenge. And so the Vishanti took they all gathered there. They were all talking. Everyone's like, "Wow, it's Doctor Strange. He's so cool. He beat Dracula, right?" And so they all get together, right? The Vishanti and Genghis are there, and they're like, "All right, it's time for the test," right? And the Vishanti they hold on to the ancient Genghis, and they turn into a stone, right, or like a crystal, pretty much.
Hmm.
And they say, "Your goal is to get the Genghis out of this crystal from us, the Vishanti," right? And so you can't, like, a lot of these sorcerers, their magic comes from the Vishanti. So they were like, "Oh, Vishanti, protect me." No, they're not gonna protect you. They're trying to kill you, pretty much. And so all the sorcerers kind of die out, and you find out that like Doctor Strange is using like he's like smart, and he uses other magical spells like that aren't Vishanti related. Um,
Uh-huh.
right? And Doom has his armor, which he's modified, right? He takes off his gauntlets in the beginning to get rid of his like laser hands and force field, but he's still his boots are fast enough to dodge shit, and he has a supercomputer in his helmet to like the split second when like a laser's about to hit him, he can dodge it kind of deal, and so everyone's dead pretty much, and it's just Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange, and they're like, we gotta beat these crystals, we gotta find a way to do it, and he's like, we can't just beat them up the way the other guys did. They'll get yeah, pretty much Ultra Instinct, but we can't beat them up the way the other guys did. We have to find another way of getting to this guy, and Doom says, I know the other way, and Doom attacks Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's like, no, you're a moron, and he binds him with the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, and then he uses his astral projection to and the Eye of Agamotto to figure out what is going on, and he finds out that they all he has to do is say, hey, you want to come back, and the guy will come back. But everyone was so like quick to attack and quick to break the crystal that they didn't realize they just simply needed to say, hey, come back to me, pretty much. And so Doctor Strange wins. He wins. He brings it back. Everyone else is done except Doctor Doom, who hadn't been like manipulated by the crystal or changed or attacked. And so Doctor Strange is named Sorcerer Supreme, and you find out that Doctor Doom is really bitter about it. Right? Here's them. And Doctor Strange is very much like he's like an honor, but I don't want to be Sorcerer Supreme. And you find out that it's time to give the favor, but Doctor Strange kind of misinterpreted it, and it wasn't that the gods will do him a favor for winning. It's that the Sorcerer Supreme, as Sorcerer Supreme, has to give out favors to everyone that stayed alive during the competition. And the only person that, like, wasn't manipulated by the crystal was Doctor Doom. And so Doctor Strange is like, I can't help Doctor Doom. But he has to. It's by decree. The Sorcerer Supreme has to grant one favor to anyone that survived the challenge.
Okay.
And so Doom says, all right, my favor will be you have to help me get my mom back. My mom was taken when I was younger, and they talk about this. And so he's like, my mom was taken from me when I was younger, and you need to help me get her back. And so it's like, all right, if that's all you want, if it's not like conquering an entire, another continent or whatever, I will come with you and help you get your mother back. He's kind of like unaware, but as they, he's like, all right, let's get onto my ship and I'll take you back to Latveria. And all the people are like, oh, we missed you, Doctor Doom. We love you, Doctor Doom. And he's explaining his situation as Emperor of Latveria or Dictator of Latveria, and Doctor Doom's kind of like his, what do you call it, like his butler. Kind of tells him like the backstory of how he was a servant of Doctor Doom's family before, and that prior to Doom being the ruler, they had a really ruthless, vicious king that didn't care about the people, and and the king kind of like he mistreated Doom's dad because his Doom's dad was a scientist, like a healer, and his
Okay.
and his mom was into the magics, right, which is where he gets half science, half magic from,
Mhm.
and so she kind of knew that she was kind of the mom was kind of helping Doom's dad with his like magic healing people and stuff, and and she, if I can remember, they she sells her soul, right? Cynthia, Doom's mom, sells her soul to Mephisto, the demon. Um, she sells her soul for power to rechange the course of Latveria. Latveria is corrupt and whatnot, and so she says, I will give up my soul to Mephisto in order for my child Victor Von Doom to be able to have like grow up and be successful and have you know what he wants when he's older, and so or that plus like ultimate power kind of thing. And so like because she's like, I can do it physically. If you give me the power to do it, I will go and kill everybody and then make my son the dictator of the future Latveria. And so Mephisto's like, yeah, sure, I will give you unlimited power. And so in return, when you die, you will come to me. You will give me your soul. And she agrees. And she stopped like by she runs into a bar, and like the guards are there. They're all drunk, and she's like I've come to lay waste to all this land. And she attacks, and she uses her spell, but one of her spells kind of like goes wrong because she doesn't have control over her powers. Mephisto gave her all the power she wanted, but no control. And so
Okay.
she kind of like, she summons a spell, and it's gonna kill all the children in Laveria. And so she's like,
Oh
you need it.
shit.
She's like, I renounce my power, and you can take my soul now. In return for setting everything the way that it was. And he's like, haha, I got. Mephisto's like, haha, I got you, and he takes her soul. And since then, like, um, his dad couldn't really heal anybody because he didn't have the magic that his mom was doing. And he didn't really, he missed his mom. He wanted his mom back. And eventually, um the way things happen is Doom's dad needs to heal the princess or something. And she ends up dying because she has to do like crazy surgery. And it doesn't work. And so Doom they run away, like the mom and dad, but he dies of hypothermia. Everyone's dying of hypothermia here. And
Mm.
Doom is taken back to Latveria to live with the butler. And the butler's daughter ends up being his girlfriend. And if any of you guys know, um the Fantastic Four's daughter, Reed and Sue's daughter, is named Valeria after the butler, his girlfriend, his first girlfriend. But that's pretty much like a Doctor Doom backstory of his parents. And so like he learns the magic because his mom's magical kit keeps coming back to him, and he picks it up, he learns it, he goes to school, he gets really good at science. And they prepare to fight Mephisto in they call it Hades, but it's pretty much like hell. Um, and so they go they he ended up they end up going to the, like, they call it the Hadean Netherrealm. And they find Mephisto. This is Mephisto for you guys. And Doom like demands that he gives his mother's soul back to him. And Mephisto laughs at him. He's like, haha, you really think you're in any place immortal to demand something of me, the demon lord, or the devil himself? And so they challenge. He gets into a challenge, and they start fighting. And Mephisto sends out his like little minion guys, little imps or whatever. And and Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom are like, they're handling it. They're like, I got this, blah blah blah. And what ends up happening is that Mephisto realizes they're too strong together, and so he sends like a sandstorm to separate them.
Mhm.
And once they get separated, like, Mephisto goes to Doom, and he's like, I have a proposition for you. What if I give you everything that you want right now, like total control over the world, and all you have to do is you leave and leave Doctor Strange here with me. And Doctor Strange was like, no, I can do that myself. And he's like, fine, I'll offer you the one thing you can't get, your mom's soul. I will give you your mother's soul in return for the Sorcerer Supreme's soul. You leave him here, and I will take your mom's soul. And Doom agrees. He says, all right, I want my mom's soul back. And so Mephisto's like, all right, perfect. He makes her like a body for her out of clay, like exactly the way her old body was. And then he takes her soul and puts it into it. And you have her, like, coming in, and he goes, he's like, mom, I love you, I missed you. He hugs her, and she's like, how am I like this? How am I not with Mephisto? I was damned for the rest of eternity to be a part of Mephisto's, like, soul collection or whatever. And he's like, I have your freedom now. Don't worry about how I got it. And you find, like, he's like, haha. And like Mephisto tells him, like, I have the Sorcerer Supreme soul now. Thank you for the gift. And the mother kind of is like, you gave someone else's soul for me. Like, my son would never, my true son would never betray someone for me. Um and so she denounced him. She's like, you are no longer my son. And she turns back into stone, and her soul kind of like, it's stuck in there. And it's really upsetting because Doctor Doom had given Doctor Strange like this device. And so when he captured him, he put him in like a crystal, but the crystal broke, and Doctor Strange was able to come out. And And so Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange are like, we gotta get out of here. I have my mom's body, and her soul is trapped inside. We can resurrect her soul once we and like free her from the stone form. Once we get back home, I can do it myself. But Mephisto's pissed. He's like, I'm the Lord of Demons, and you're in my realm. You'll never leave this place alive. And Mephisto swallows them, and he grows. He eats them, and they're like they try shooting him with like different kinds of like science attacks and stuff like that. And Doctor Strange says, "All right, I know a way we can get home with our lives, but you're not gonna like it." And he takes the light that's inside his mother's soul because she has with denouncing Mephisto and with realizing that her sacrifice was necessary, she became she became like she was able to go to heaven pretty much if she could escape hell. And so the light that's in his mom, he uses it to blind or attack Mephisto with it, and it like hurts him. The mother goes to heaven, and the two of them escape Hades or whatever it's called, the Hades realm. And Doom is really pissed because he wanted his mom back like the way she would be. But he says your mom has redeemed herself, and neither Mephisto nor ourselves can obtain her anymore because she's in heaven now, kind of deal. And her soul is lost to the demon forever, right? Kind of deal. And so that's Triumph and Torment, and it covers how Doctor Strange became Sorcerer Supreme, but it covers a lot of Doctor Doom's backstory. Um,
Mm.
and it's honestly, if you guys have a chance to read this comic, it's effing amazing. A really good comic, and it's difficult to find though, because it's very expensive. And mostly because like 100 issues or 500 issues or something or 1,000, like very few amount of issues were sent out worldwide, so it's why it's so expensive. Um, but currently, at least as of September, in a month or so, the 22nd, um, Doctor Strange will be dead. Um, in the new issue that's coming out, it's called The Death of Doctor Strange, and it's answering the question of who killed him, how strong is the person that killed Doctor Strange, and who is going to defend the world the way Doctor Strange did from these mystical evils, kind of deal. Um, when the if you guys want me to come back to Doctor Strange, I can. And I will cover. I promise I will cover. Doctor Strange. His newer stuff. But that is pretty much Doctor Strange. Like just a guy that goes around fighting gods and demons and that kind of stuff. You
I like this
yeah, he's really fun. He has a lot of funny spells.
guy.
Um, he has a lot of funny spells, and he prays to a tiger. Um, he prays to a tiger and a blind guy. So in which he has his eye. So yeah. Do you want to thank you Snoopy for the follow. Do you guys want to do you want to grade Doctor Strange? How did you grade Doctor Strange as a character?
Doctor Strange as a character gets a solid 8 from me, and I'm sure
Nice, Ducky. What's
Ducky
up?
would agree if he
Yeah,
was here.
Duck Addicts gives it a 10. Ducky, I know you're in chat. You have to leave early, but do you want to give a grade real quick to Doctor Strange before we head out? If you're in chat, no, maybe. I know you weren't here for most of it, but yeah. I tried not to cover the movie here because the movie is I touched on it, but it's a very good movie if you guys want to watch it. Highly recommend it. Benedict Cumberbatch is great. Um, Swilden, whatever her name is, the one that played the Ancient One, she's great. The guy that plays Wong, Benedict Wong, is great as Wong. A lot of these characters are really good. Like these actors are great. A+ movie character, yep, for sure. If you guys have any questions in chat for me on Doctor Strange, I can answer them. Now would be a perfect time to answer them. Even stuff for the multiverse movie, I'll try and answer that myself as well. Um, I'm caught up with most of the like talk about it. So if you guys wanna shoot some stuff over there, let me know. But that is pretty much Doctor Strange. I'll take a couple questions if you guys have before I go, but if not, do you know how tall he is? How tall is Doctor Strange?
How tall is Doctor Strange? Who asked that question?
Snoopy.
I know.
Doctor Strange
I
is
fucking
well, Benedict
knew.
Cumberbatch is 6'1". Uh, let's see how tall Doctor Strange is. Physical characteristics. He's 6 foot 0 or 1.83 meters. His shoe size. I don't think we'll be able to find his shoe size, Snoopy. Um, he's got gray eyes. He weighs 180 pounds or 81 kilograms. He has black hair with a little bit of white streaks on the side. That he dyed himself, and he's got a little shaky hands. Yeah. That's that's Doctor Strange pretty much. Yeah. Again, I will send out a poll for everyone in chat. He is a very sexy man. Doctor Strange is a very sexy man. But I will send out a poll for you guys to vote on the next character. And to anyone still watching in chat, I want to make a brief message. The last the last week of every month, I will be covering a Marvel event. So we'll have to hold off on a character that you want to do till the next month. This is the beginning of a month, so at the end of this month, I will be doing one comic event, and I have already decided which one I'll do. I'll be doing Civil War for Panda. And then I already know which one I'm going to do for September as well, so stay tuned for the next episode. It comes out on Mondays. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. You guys know where to follow, where to sub, and yeah, pretty much. I will see you guys next week.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it.
that's it.
Fools.
Let's. Can that be our outro from now on? Though? That's it, fools.
That could be our outro.
All right, later, guys.